Hello everyone, my name is Jai Jariwala, ID number 20142031. I'm in IBM 2014 and I'm here presenting use cases on big data analytics. So let's get into the crux of it. This PowerPoint presentation will consist of different use cases that have been developed by various authors all over the world with the help of Gephi, which is an open graph visualization platform. Gephi is a software that helps you track network flow analysis and also come up with solutions and answers to many of your problems. So you'll notice that there are cases ranging from network traffic mapping to the movement of football during soccer games, and you'll also notice that the data has been collected over from various platforms such as Airbnb and Twitter. So let's get into the use cases of it. Use case number one, synapses. So this is developed by the author to visualize network traffic. So it is the beginning structure of the Carnivore tool. Carnivore is basically a tool that has been developed by the FBI to monitor email and electronic communications. Uh, this visualizes the packet flow and hence which will help generate a network topology and help us find the busiest node or computer where maximum data exchange takes place. This major finding of this use case is basically that we can find the busiest node, and in case of counter-terrorism we can find the origin of the threat and associated nodes with it. So we can basically go at the starting point and analyze where the data has moved from there and what further course of action that they're plotting. So this is one of the major important uses of this thing. Moving on to use case number two, website traffic map. This use case uses log data from web series. It looks at the available data and creates a site tree. So this map is very relevant to every organization actually that believes in e-commerce and online platform, because it helps the reader to understand how a user is navigating through the site. Looking more into it, you will see that this map is clockwise in nature and it shows the movement of users. The organization can use this data to understand bottlenecks and pages which user frequent the most, and then this can help them in raising their revenue by providing advertisement on most of the more frequented pages. It also helps them to find out the pages that are very less frequented, because then they shouldn't be investing or wasting their money on those pages and rather try changing those pages or deleting them in totality. Moving on to the next use case. Use case number three is mapping Facebook friendships. So this is used to map the connections and friends of millions of users of Facebook all over the globe. So this data has been collected by the author from Facebook's Apache Hive database. You can notice that the connections were geolocated and they were mapped to the current user using a blue line. So you can see these white places, each of them is a single user, and you can also notice that blue lines that are traveling to all parts of the world. This is their friendship or the connection with a different user in a different part of the world or within their own country. What is the finding from this we see? This case is highly significant because it helps us understand the growing global relationship of users of Facebook and understand the butterfly effect. How a small action in one part of the country or the world can significantly affect the entire chain of friends the user has. So how does this work? Tomorrow you go to some place and you are, let's say you're on the receiving end of some very bad hospitality. What you do is actually you set up a Facebook status and tell them that this place I was very terrible and they serve you terrible food or service or anything. The same thing is noticed by people from different parts of the world or the country. Okay, and this then might be either shared, liked, commented by different people from different parts of the world. And as such, the data is passed from one person to another in a very fast form and let's say effect. Next use case, Global Pulse. So in Global Pulse, author covered the messages coming in and out of Japan during the devastating earthquake of 2011. So in the first picture, you will notice that there are two different colors. One is basically pink and one is yellow. So pink is basically the replies to users in Japan, and the yellow are the reply from users from Japan. So basically they uploaded tweets and everything and they were retweeted and reply to, and all these things. So you'll notice that the extent or the immediacy, and this is the data that was collected within 1 hour of the earthquake taking place. So you can see how much data flow is happening even when a calamity has just taken place. When you look at the second image, it is basically a compilation of retweets that the world over, and this is after the earthquake. Original tweets are in pink, and you can see that the retweets are in green. So you can actually notice that a lot not a lot of tweets were sent out during by from Japan, but the number of retweets that took place and the fast pace with which it took place shows the fast flow of information. And as such, this was analyzed by Gephi because each user retweets or shares or whatever thing and passes on the information to his fellow Twitterati, and as such, this forms a global pulse. Use case number 5 is basically how music travels. So this we look at how music travels from one part of the world to another. The timeline is basically from 1800s to 2000s. The author traces the geographic and temporal evolution of Western music dance. The node name and ages are indicated by different genres, and you can notice that different countries are mentioned in the background. So when we look at this thing, what we infer from this is basically it is used by companies to understand where and when to launch a genre of music. It will help them build revenues and minimize waste of resources. So tomorrow there is a company that wants to launch hip hop music in India, English hip hop music, I would rather say. So it finds that it's a very much more tougher task for it to do that in India, but if it launches it in US, there's a higher possibility of it moving all over the world, even to countries such as India, rather than launching it in India. So this helps them travel, understand the trends and the benefits from the trends. The next use case is basically the Foursquare check-ins reveal holiday travel patterns. So you can see the travel made by people in the US with the help of trains, planes, and cars. The period that the author took for this is from Halloween until just after Christmas in 2010. It basically counts when a traveler checks in and checks out at the station or the airport on the same day, whereas the movement of the drivers in case of moving by car is on the highway and the check-in at multiple highway tolls. So what you see is that there's a high amount of travel during this period, and this helps us understand that travel industry can use this to travel study pattern of users. The need for providing proper advertising can help boost sales and also provide them with loyal customer base. So tomorrow you know that there's a high possibility that most of your customers will be moving from this place to that to another place. It can help your industry by basically providing them with proper sales or offers or discounts or loyalty based programs, so that they basically helps you generate more revenue in future. Moving on to the next use case. Use case number 7 is called Airbnb locations. So this maps out the Airbnb's top 50 markets. The thickness of the line corresponds basically to the volume of travel between each pair of markets, which are labeled along the outside of this radial network visualization. So when you look at it, you can understand that there's high amount of data, sorry, I rephrase, a high amount of people moving into New York during this period. Okay, whereas compared to other places such as Austin or Chicago or Berlin. So Airbnb can use this data to provide significant discounts based on the most frequented location. It can also look to improve and increase operations at certain locations based on the time frame given certain holidays and vacation time. So let's assume that there's heavy flow in London during the time of New Year. So what Airbnb can do is look for more places to put up on its site, which will enable more users to come to the place and hence generation of more revenue. So these are certain trends that the company can develop with the help of this software and this data that it possesses. Moving on to the next use case, number 8, football drawings. So this is basically the movement of football during a soccer game. So the moments are drawn simultaneously to the action taking place on the field. The strategy and the relation of strength between the competing teams can be analyzed using this. So this is one of the most important areas of sports analytics, where teams use this data to devise strategies not only based on the movement of football but also the players on the field. What you actually notice is the movement of football, but the data that is lacking is basically the movement of players. Along the same lines, each movement of player can be tracked, including his speed, his movement, his agility, and this can help us understand or infer whether a player is moving up to his maximum capacity, or he's injured, or there are chances of him getting injured, and excuse me, develop strategies that in case you want to sub off a player, then you know that his energy level is low, so it might be better for you to do that. Can also help track the fitness level of individuals. So just like I told you, this can help predict, do a predictive analysis of future in case they are in a tense situation and you need to make changes that you hope will affect the match. So this can help with the same. Next use case is called transfer window. So this provides information of how much money was involved in the transfer, the average change in position of a league for every million spent. So this helps us, this is more of a understanding or descriptive analysis than a predictive one, because this helps in understanding the transfer market for a season and see how and where teams prefer to buy its player from. Based on the strategy, a team can vary its financial strategy. What you actually notice here is that Liverpool has signed players from outside the league and from the other leagues, whereas you can see Manchester City has signed players from Liverpool, and Chelsea has I'm sorry, Chelsea has signed players from Liverpool. You can see that Manchester United has signed players from Manchester City, as Swansea City has taken on loan, or Liverpool players have gone to Swansea City, Sunderland FC, Stoke City. So this can help you develop data. When we look at the column on the left, on the figure on the left, you can see Arsenal, Cardiff, Chelsea, Crystal Palace. So there's multiple movement of players from one team to another, and this has been tracked using Gephi, and this entire site has been developed actually, where the link is provided below, where one can go and see which player has moved at what cost, how much a profit a team has made, or a loss, overall loss a team has made, and understand the you know transfer market better. The last use case is basically your telephone traffic flow map. So this data is based on the volume of international telephone traffic between nations. The traffic flow is represented by smooth curving lines colored in red. The thickness of the lines is proportional to the annual volume of traffic between those two countries. So like you might see Spain and Italy having minimum traffic, whereas countries from UK to other places like France, they have very high traffic. So this is used to understand where the business hub of Europe is actually located and where major telecommunication happens. So it is an area of new and upcoming telecom company can look to target with its new product design to gain maximum customers. It's clear from the map that UK, Germany and France, they kind of dominate the traffic in the intra-European flows, hence forming a important triangle uh, at the heart of the continent. And if basically if you want to gain your maximum customer base, you prefer to do it from here, because once you set bases in these three countries, you might be able to further expand your operations to various other ones. So what the conclusion that we draw from this? So we can see that an individual or a company can use this platform to understand its customer and decide on product designs based on these outcomes. We already told you that there are some cases of predictive analysis that can be done, whereas there are some cases of descriptive analysis that could be done. It's an open software and hence is a grounding framework for multiple fields, and its easy structure and usage is perfect for people with minimum programming exposure. So all in all, Gephi is a great visualization tool which helps us understand all the sectors of the world and can help you, develop or come up with different types of visualization that will be pertinent to your decision making things. So all in all, thank you. Have a good day.